Since 8-year-old Sandra Cantu left home to play in California and never returned.
I have a missing daughter. Okay, how old is she? She's 8.
Last time that she was being seen on that tape, and where is she today is what everybody would like to know.
The body of 8-year-old Sandra Cantu was found hidden not far from her hometown.
Person or persons responsible for this reprehensible act, and we will bring them to justice.
Not very good. I miss my baby.
Suitcase. She was in there. She wasn't breathing or anything.
It starts with a voice that sounds like it's holding itself together by a thread, a pause, a breath, and then words that feel almost unreal the moment they're spoken. My daughter is missing, 8 years old, just 8, and in a place where nothing like this is supposed to happen, she vanishes without a trace.
Well, I have a missing daughter. Okay, how old is she? She's 8.
No scream, no struggle, no one sees anything. Just one moment she's there, and the next she isn't. And what makes this story even more disturbing is not just how she disappeared, but who she trusted in those final moments. Tracy, California, a town that lived in that quiet space between busy and peaceful. Not too big, not too small. The kind of place where routines settle in, where people wave at each other without thinking, where kids still ride bikes in the afternoon without anyone worrying too much. It felt safe. And for families like Sandra's, that feeling meant everything. Sandra was the kind of child people remember instantly, not because she tried to stand out, but because she couldn't help it. She had energy that never seemed to run out, always moving, always talking, always asking questions that came faster than answers. She loved being outside more than anything, loved the freedom of it. The noise, the laughter, the feeling that something exciting could happen at any second. Her favorite shirt, bright, playful, covered in Hello Kitty, became almost a symbol of who she was. Light, carefree, untouched by anything dark. And that Friday started exactly like every other good day in her life. School ended. She came home, dropped her backpack without much thought. Maybe said a quick hello, maybe didn't even slow down enough for that. Because outside was waiting. Friends were waiting. The day wasn't over yet. She changed quickly, pulled on her favorite clothes, and before anyone could really stop her, she was out the door again. A quick goodbye. A promise to stay close. A normal moment that would later feel anything but normal. Time passed in the way it always does. Unnoticed, unimportant, until it suddenly matters. Dinner came. Her family expected her back. That's how it always worked. No strict schedule, no pressure, just the understanding that when it was time, she would return. But this time she didn't. At first, it felt small. Maybe she lost track of time. Maybe she was still playing. Maybe she didn't hear someone calling her name. Her brother went out to find her, walked the usual paths, checked the spots. She always went. Nothing. Minutes stretched longer. The feeling shifted slowly at first, then all at once. Because there's a moment in situations like this where your mind stops offering simple explanations and starts asking harder questions. The search began before anyone wanted to admit how serious it might be. Family, neighbors, friends, everyone stepping outside, calling her name, checking every corner, every street, every place she could possibly be, but there was no answer. No voice calling back, no footsteps running toward them, just an empty space where she should have been. When the call to police was finally made, everything changed. Because now it wasn't just a missing child, it was a race against time. Officers moved quickly. There was no waiting period, no hesitation. At 8 years old, every minute mattered. K-9 units were brought in.
Authorities in Tracy are tracking down hundreds of leads this morning and raising the reward for information on the girl.
They picked up her scent, followed it through the neighborhood past familiar homes, past places she had played so many times before. And then suddenly, it stopped. No gradual fade. No clear direction. Just gone. That kind of stop doesn't happen without a reason. It doesn't happen unless something interrupts the path. Unless someone does. That realization settled in quietly but heavily. Sandra hadn't just wandered off. She had left with someone, and not just anyone. Someone she trusted enough to approach. Someone who didn't scare her. someone who felt safe, because an 8-year-old doesn't walk away calmly with a stranger, but she will with someone she knows. As the hours turned into days, the entire community began to move as one. Flyers appeared everywhere. Volunteers showed up in numbers no one expected. People who had never met Sandra were now walking miles, searching fields, checking roads, holding on to hope as tightly as they could. Vigils were held at night, candles flickering in the dark. Faces filled with emotion no one could quite put into words. Hope mixed with fear, because deep down everyone understood something they didn't want to say out loud. Time was not on their side. Then something strange happened. A note appeared, handwritten, left near a mailbox. Its wording off, almost unnatural, like someone had tried to disguise their voice but overdid it. It mentioned a suitcase, a location, specific roads, too specific to ignore. Police took it seriously. They had to, because in cases like this, even the smallest lead can change everything. The location led to water, dark, murky, still, a place where visibility disappears just beneath the surface, a place that hides more than it reveals. Search teams monitored it, but conditions made it nearly impossible to see what was beneath. So they waited. And as the water level eventually dropped, something surfaced. A suitcase. Closed. Still, out of place in every possible way. And in that moment before it was even opened, there was already a feeling. Because sometimes you already know. Inside was Sandra, exactly as she had been that afternoon. Same clothes, same small frame, same little girl who had run out the door just days before, full of life. Now completely still. The search was over. But the case was far from it, because now came the question that matters most. Who did this, and how? At first, investigators followed every possible lead, people with suspicious behavior, individuals with past records, anyone who might have crossed paths with Sandra that day. But something didn't sit right, because the answer didn't seem to be coming from outside. It was closer, much closer. There was someone who had been present from the beginning, someone who inserted themselves into the situation quickly, someone who talked, who helped, who offered information, someone who seemed almost too involved, a neighbor, a familiar face.
Person or persons responsible for this reprehensible act, and we will bring them to justice.
A person Sandra had spent time around before, someone her family trusted. At first, there was nothing concrete. Just small inconsistencies, statements that didn't fully match, details that felt slightly off. But over time, those small things started to connect. A missing suitcase report, a connection to the location, a presence near the critical time window, and then physical evidence, handwriting, objects, substances. Each piece tightening the circle until there was nowhere left to look except directly at her. When confronted, the story that came out didn't hold. It shifted, changed, added details that only created more questions, described as an accident, something unintentional, something that supposedly spiraled out of control. But the evidence told a different story, a clearer one, and a much darker one. In the end, the truth became unavoidable. Sandra had been taken by someone she trusted, someone who called her over, who made her feel safe enough to get close to step into a situation she never could have understood. And within hours, everything was over. The courtroom brought a conclusion but not closure. A life sentence, no possibility of release, a legal end to the case. But for the family, there is no real ending, because loss like that doesn't resolve. It stays, in empty rooms, in quiet moments, in every memory that suddenly feels too heavy to carry. Sandra's name didn't disappear with her. It lives on in the people who remember her, in the community that searched for her, in the place that now carries her story as a permanent reminder. A reminder that safety can be an illusion, that trust can be broken, and that sometimes the most dangerous person in a child's world is the one standing right next to them. And maybe that's what makes this story impossible to forget. Not just the tragedy, but the simplicity of how it began. A normal day, a quick goodbye. 2, a child running outside expecting to come back. And in that single moment, everything changed. Forever.
She was tired, wanted to go home. She went outside and called her an Uber.
She was last seen on surveillance video getting into a black Chevy Impala.
Has the child locked on, so she cannot open the door, she cannot roll the windows down. They are on and locked.
Pocket. What are you, crazy? Get over here. Hey, get over here! I got him. Get on the ground. Stop moving.
Whatever rage is going on, and there's not a cut on him.
That was the hardest call I ever had to make, was telling Cindy that her...
It starts quietly. No screams, no chaos, no warning, just a normal night and one small decision that changes everything. March 28th, 2019, in Columbia. Near the University of South Carolina, the streets are alive. It's close to 2 a.m., that strange moment where the night feels stretched, where everything is louder, faster, more chaotic. Bars are closing, music spills out into the streets. Groups of students move together, laughing, shouting, holding on to the last moments before the night ends. 5 Points is packed. Cars line the streets. Ride shares come and go constantly. People stand on sidewalks staring at their phones, refreshing apps, watching little dots move on a map as they wait for their ride home. Some are calling friends, some are arguing, some are just standing there, exhausted, ready for the night to be over. It's chaotic, but it feels normal. It feels safe. For almost everyone there, this is just another Thursday night. But for 21-year-old Samantha Josephson, this night is different. This night is the last night of her life. Samantha wasn't just another college student. She was driven, focused, and full of plans. She had come from New Jersey to build something for herself. Step by step, she had worked toward a future she believed in, and now she had made it. Graduation was only weeks away. Law school was next. Everything she had worked for was right in front of her.
She wanted law school, so we were behind her 100%. Just wanted her to be happy.
That night, her friends were celebrating her. Not a huge party, nothing special on the surface. Just music playing, people talking, laughter filling the room. The kind of night that feels completely ordinary while it's happening. No one knows it will matter. No one knows it will be the last time they see her alive. As the hours pass, Samantha begins to feel tired, not uncomfortable, not unsafe, just ready to go home. She could have asked someone to walk with her. She could have stayed longer. She could have made a different decision, but she didn't. Instead, she makes a small, simple choice. She leaves alone. The door closes behind her and everything changes. Outside, the energy drops instantly. The music fades. The laughter disappears. The air feels colder. Streetlights cast long shadows across the pavement. Cars pass by, headlights flashing across her face for just a second at a time. She stands near the curb, alone. She pulls out her phone and orders an Uber. Simple, routine, safe. The app confirms her ride is on the way. She waits, calm, relaxed, maybe scrolling, maybe texting, maybe still on a call. There is nothing about this moment that feels dangerous. Nothing that tells her she should be afraid. But nearby, something is already in motion. A dark Chevy Impala is circling the area, again and again and again. It moves slowly through 5 Points, blending perfectly into the traffic. No one notices. No one pays attention. Surveillance later shows it had been driving around for more than 15 minutes. It doesn't stop. It doesn't interact. It doesn't speak to anyone. It just circles, like it's waiting, like it's searching, like it already knows exactly what it's looking for. Inside that car is Nathaniel Rowland. At the exact same time, something small but critical goes wrong. Samantha walks in the wrong direction. Instead of heading toward her Uber pickup point, she goes the opposite way. It's a tiny mistake, the kind of mistake anyone could make. The kind that feels meaningless in the moment, but it isn't. The real Uber driver arrives. He waits. He looks around. He tries to find her, but she's not there. Minutes pass. He calls. He searches. Nothing. Eventually, the ride is canceled. Just like that, her safe way home is gone. But Samantha doesn't know. She's still waiting, still trusting, still believing her ride will arrive any second. Cars pull up. She steps forward, checking each one, then steps back when it's not hers. She returns to the curb and waits. Then the Impala comes back. This time it doesn't pass. It slows down, turns, and pulls directly up next to her. Everything about this moment feels right. The timing, the location, the color of the car, the situation, relief. She believes this is her ride. No hesitation, no doubt. She opens the door and gets in. 3 seconds. That's all it takes. The car pulls away from the curb and disappears into the night.
And he found somebody that, was vulnerable and obviously confused on, what car was her.
And just like that, Samantha Josephson is gone. At first, everything feels normal. Streetlights pass by. Buildings blur in the windows. The city slowly fades behind her. But then, something feels wrong. The direction. It's not right. This isn't the way home. Confusion creeps in, then fear. She looks at the driver, looks around the car. This isn't who she was expecting. This isn't her ride. She reaches for the door, locked. She pulls again, nothing. Child locks. She tries the window. It won't move. Now there's no doubt. She's trapped, alone in the back of a moving car with a stranger. What happens next is fast, violent, chaotic. A desperate fight for survival in a place where no one can see her and no one can hear her. But even in that moment, she leaves something behind. A footprint pressed against the inside of the window, a silent message, a sign that she fought, a sign that she tried, a sign that she did everything she could. Hours pass. Her friends assume she made it home. Maybe she went somewhere else. Maybe she fell asleep. Nothing feels urgent. Not yet. But the next morning, everything changes. No messages, no calls, no sign of her. Samantha is gone. She had work that day. She never missed work, never showed up late. Now, she doesn't show up at all. Panic spreads quickly. Her friends try to track her phone. For a short time, it shows movement. Then suddenly it stops. The signal disappears completely. They go back to 5 points. They check surveillance footage, and what they see changes everything. Samantha got into the wrong car. Police are called. But by now, it's been hours. This is no longer a missing person case. This is an abduction. Investigators focus on one key detail, a black Chevy Impala. Then more clues start to appear. Her debit card is used multiple times. Different locations, different attempts. Someone is moving. Someone is trying to access her money. A witness reports something strange. A car matching the description with a white sheet covering part of the back seat. Then comes the moment no one was ready for. In a remote area near New Zion, 2 hunters make a discovery. A body, covered in blood, severely injured, almost unrecognizable. But the clothing matches. It's Samantha. Miles away, her parents Marcy Josephson and Seymour Josephson are already on their way, hoping for answers. Then the phone rings, and in that moment everything breaks. Back in Columbia, police flood the streets. Every available officer is searching. They know they're looking for a predator. They know time matters. Then finally a break. Officer Jeffrey Kraft spots a black Chevy Impala just blocks away from where Samantha disappeared. He pulls it over. Something feels wrong immediately. The driver is nervous, too nervous, uneasy. Then suddenly he runs.
Get your hand in your pocket. What are you, crazy? Get over here. Hey, get over here!
A chase begins. Officers pursue him through the streets, adrenaline high, instincts taking over. They don't fully know what they're dealing with, but they know it's serious. Within minutes, he's caught, and inside the car, the truth is waiting. Blood across the back seat. Samantha's phone, her keys. Everything points to one man, Nathaniel Rowland. In court, the defense argues there is no direct DNA linking him, no clear proof placing him in that exact moment. But prosecutors don't rely on one piece. They build a timeline, a pattern, a chain of evidence. The car, The movement, the items, the behavior, everything connects. Piece by piece, it all leads back to him.
The left shoe, this strap is still intact.
The jury listens. The courtroom is silent. Then the verdict, guilty, life in prison. But for Samantha's family, there is no real closure. No sentence can undo what happened. No verdict can bring her back. Only grief, only memories, and one message they want the world to remember. One simple question: what's my name? Because if the driver can't answer, you're in the wrong car. And sometimes one small mistake, one moment of trust, is all it takes to disappear forever.
Steht in enger Verbindung zu Rebeccas Schwager Florian R., einem Mann, der schon lange im Visier der Ermittler ist.
Mit ihr war eben viel Bewegung im Haus.
Sicher, dass die Beweise für eine Untersuchungshaft ausreichen würden. Der Haftrichter entschied aber anders.
Untersuchungshaft wird aber wieder freigelassen. Die Beweislage reicht nicht aus.
Rebecca dorthin verbracht wurde in nicht mehr lebenden Zustand.
It didn't start with a scream, no noise, no sudden sign that anything had gone wrong. It started quietly, almost invisibly, with something so ordinary that most people wouldn't even remember it. A single Snapchat photo, taken in a narrow hallway inside a house that should have been safe. Rebecca Reusch stands there alone, wearing jeans, a soft pink fleece jacket, and a hoodie with the words "Rap Monster" printed across the back. She looks calm, completely normal, like a teenager getting ready for school on a regular morning. If you saw that image without context, you wouldn't question it. Nothing about it feels unusual, nothing suggests danger, nothing hints at what is about to happen. But that photo is the last confirmed proof that Rebecca Reusch was alive. Because just minutes later, her mother tried to call her. The phone rang once, then again and again, before going to voicemail. No answer, no response, no message back. And from that moment on, Rebecca disappeared. She didn't show up to school that day, despite having a late start at 9:50 a.m., something that should have made it easier for her to arrive on time. She didn't return home later that afternoon. She didn't message her friends, didn't post online, didn't leave any trace of where she might have gone. There were no witnesses who saw her leave the house, no CCTV footage capturing her outside.
Dass Rebecca dorthin verbracht wurde in nicht mehr lebenden.
No sounds reported from inside that would suggest a struggle. No disturbance, no broken routine that anyone could point to. And there was no body, just silence, and a timeline that becomes more unsettling the closer you examine it. The last place Rebecca was ever seen was inside her sister's house, a normal family home in a quiet part of Berlin. The kind of place where nothing violent is supposed to happen, where people feel safe, where mornings follow predictable patterns. But on that morning, there was only one other adult inside, her brother-in-law, Florian, a man who claimed that he was asleep the entire time Rebecca vanished. He said he went to bed after returning from a party just a couple of hours earlier, that he didn't hear anything, didn't see anything, didn't wake up. But investigators were never convinced by that explanation, and as the case developed, their doubts only grew stronger. So before going further, there is one question that continues to divide people to this day. Do you believe Rebecca Reusch ever left that house alive? Rebecca, known as Becky to her family and friends, was the youngest of three sisters. She was born on September 21st, 2003, and she was just 15 years old at the time she disappeared. She lived with her parents in a quiet residential district in Berlin, while her older sisters, Jessica and Vivian, had already moved out and were raising young children of their own. Despite the age gap, the sisters stayed close, often visiting each other, spending time together, sharing everyday life. And it was that closeness that brought Rebecca to Jessica's house on the night before she vanished. To outsiders, Rebecca might have seemed like any other teenager, but she was someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone who was deeply loved. Her family described her as expressive, loyal, and funny, someone who brought energy into a room and cared deeply about the people around her.
We did it. We did it. Yeah!
She adored her nieces and nephews, loved animals, and had a strong passion for K-pop, especially the group BTS. Her room was covered in posters, and her wardrobe included hoodies and accessories connected to her favorite idols. That hoodie in the final photo wasn't random. It was part of her identity, something she chose to wear, something that reflected who she was. But behind that, things weren't perfect. At school, Rebecca had been struggling with bullying and ongoing conflicts with classmates. Her father later confirmed that she wasn't happy in her current environment and had even expressed a desire to change schools, to start fresh, somewhere new. She had deleted most of her Instagram photos after issues with peers, and in the days leading up to her disappearance, friends noticed changes in her behavior. She seemed quieter than usual, less active online, more withdrawn, almost like something was weighing on her. That shift may seem small, but in hindsight, it became significant. Then comes Sunday, February 17th, 2019. Rebecca asks her parents if she can stay overnight at her sister Jessica's house. Nothing about that seemed unusual. Jessica was 27 at the time, living with her husband Florian and their 2-year-old daughter. A normal family, a normal evening, nothing out of place. Rebecca planned to sleep on the living room couch and head straight to school the next morning. Everything felt routine, safe, predictable. That night, Jessica was home with Rebecca and the child, while Florian was out at a party with colleagues. There were no reported arguments, no signs of tension, nothing that suggested anything was wrong. The next morning, Monday, February 18th, everything changes. Rebecca had a late start at school, with classes beginning at 9:50 a.m., giving her more time than usual that morning. At exactly 7 a.m., Jessica leaves the house with her daughter and goes to work. From that moment on, only 2 people remain inside. Rebecca, who was believed to still be asleep on the couch, and Florian, who had returned home from the party less than 2 hours earlier. He claimed that he went to bed and fell asleep shortly after. At 7:15 a.m., Rebecca's mother calls her. The phone rings, but there is no answer.
Und weil ich ihn nicht erreicht hatte, dann habe ich dann gedacht, ich fahre dann mal los.
Sometime between 7 and 7:46 a.m., Rebecca takes that Snapchat photo in the hallway, the last confirmed sign that she was alive. At 7:46 a.m., her phone briefly connects to the house Wi-Fi network, and after that moment, everything stops. No outgoing messages, no further activity, no confirmed movement. At 8:15 a.m., her friend opens the Snapchat. At 8:36 a.m., a WhatsApp message from her mother is delivered, indicating that the phone was still able to receive data, but it was never read. That detail raises a critical question. Was Rebecca still alive at that point, or was her phone already somewhere else entirely, possibly no longer in her possession? Later that morning, at 10:47 a.m., a camera on the A12 motorway captures a raspberry red Renault Twingo, Florian's car, traveling east toward the Polish border. Then again the following night, the same vehicle appears on the same route. 2 trips, both unexplained, both through remote areas known for forests and lakes, with very few potential witnesses. Investigators later found light-colored hairs inside the car, possibly matching Rebecca, along with fibers from a missing purple blanket that had belonged to her. However, none of this evidence could be definitively linked to a crime, leaving investigators with suspicion, but no certainty. Florian's alibi also began to break down under closer examination. He claimed to have been asleep during the critical time window, but digital records later revealed that he had been awake and using his phone. His browsing activity included explicit content, with searches involving pressure applied to the neck, directly contradicting his statement. For investigators, this wasn't just unusual, it was a direct inconsistency that raised serious concerns about what had really happened inside that house during that narrow window of time. Witnesses also came forward, reporting sightings of a similar car near wooded areas and a man behaving nervously, looking around as if he didn't want to be seen. Despite extensive search efforts involving forests, lakes, and remote regions, nothing was ever recovered. No belongings, no physical evidence, no trace of Rebecca herself. Searches continued for years, following tips, revisiting locations, but the outcome never changed, and that is where the case remains. No body, no confession, no definitive proof of what happened inside that house. Just a timeline that doesn't add up, a series of unanswered questions, and a single photo taken in a quiet hallway that became the last confirmed moment Rebecca Reusch was ever seen alive. So now, after everything you've heard, think about it carefully, one last time. Do you believe Rebecca Reusch ever left that house alive?